Oh, there we go. How's it going, everybody? Ian back with another video. It is 3:16 in the morning. Got done with work, came home, watched the newest episode of WandaVision. It's a great show. If you guys aren't watching it, please watch it. It's amazing if you're into the Marvel stuff. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit quiet, just a little quiet, just respect for the neighbors. Even though most of them don't have respect for any of the other neighbors. But, oh well, that's apartment living. So, this is I'm sorry about the glare. Jeez. This is my 20 favorite movies. Not movies, I'm tired. These are my 20 favorite books. And I saw this, is this a tag? I don't know if it's a tag. I saw this video over on the Bookish Bryants. I'll leave the link to their channel below. Highly recommend going checking them out. Awesome people. So this is going to be my top 20 novels I've ever read. So I'm not going to show them on my phone because the glare is just not working. But I do have a few here, and then over here I've got a more. So let's get started. Number 20. This is going to be Hostage by Michael Crichton. No, shoot. Yeah. Let me just make sure here. No, it's Robert Crichton. Excuse me. I think that's how you say it. I should have been more prepared. Yeah, Robert Crichton. Crais. Crichton? I believe that's his. Anyway, number 20 is Hostage by Robert Crichton. It was made into a movie with Bruce Willis. It was a decent movie. The book was better in my opinion. But basically that's just about a home invasion. There's other things, the mob's involved, but really enjoyed that book. I read that book back in high school. So that is number 20 is Hostage. Number 19, Second World by Jeremy Robinson. Second World is like a alternate time book where basically in the Second World the Nazis won World War II. So kind of like what was it, the Man in the High Castle, but this is just Jeremy Robinson's take on it, and it's a pretty cool book. So that is number 19. I don't remember too much about it. I remember bits and pieces, but I remember I loved it. All right, number 18, Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first in the Reckoner series. And Steelheart is like a young adult thing, and that was my favorite. I mean, I liked his Words of Radiance and the Stormlight Archives. The first two books I've read in that got 5-star reads for me. I didn't put this on the list because this was my favorite of the Sandersons. It's Steelheart, the Reckoner series. Basically, it's all the superheroes are basically bad guys, and the Reckoners are a group of normal people who go and kill these superheroes. And Steelheart is kind of like a Superman character, and I believe this takes place in Chicago, or or maybe it's based on Chicago. I don't know if it's I can't remember if it takes place in our world. I read this a few years ago, but I really enjoyed Steelheart and the second one. The third book in the series I didn't really care for. The second one was Firefight, and the third was Calamity. And FYI, there's going to be. I'm also going to put, one book per series. It doesn't count like I'm going to just say the whole series counts as, we'll get to that. But number 17, Scythe by Neil Gaiman. Scythe by Neil Gaiman. I only read the first book just because it didn't give me enough to want to read the second book, and I kind of didn't want to spoil. I didn't want, because I believe, yes, it's a trilogy, and I did not want the, I enjoyed Scythe so much, I didn't want to read the second book, so to kind of get my hopes down. Maybe I will in the future, but Scythe was pretty awesome. It's basically the world has developed so much where nobody dies naturally anymore. So they're Reaper characters. People actually have to, call the herd, and it's again, can't remember too much. I remember a lot. I remember the good parts, I guess, but I can't remember the exact plot. But I do remember I loved it. Number 16 is Monster Hunter University series by Larry Correia, and this is basically a urban fantasy, Jim Butcher type story. A dude kills his boss. His boss turns out to be a werewolf, so he's recruited in Monster Hunter International. Did I say Monster Hunter University before? No. It's Monster Hunter International. Yeah, again, I'm tired. Monster Hunter International. He gets recruited into Monster Hunter MHI, and they basically go and protect the world from supernatural and fantasy threats. And that, I believe, was a 4-book series. And then he kind of has like a few spin-offs. The spin-offs are garbage, written by John Ringo. And John Ringo is, in my opinion, a terrible writer. So there's that. Monster Hunter International. All right. Number 15. My first thing I can show. Number 15 is Jurassic Park. This is the Ultimate Trilogy collection on Blu-ray. But Jurassic Park, I listened on an audiobook. I took a road trip and I put that in. So Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I don't need to explain too much. Everyone kind of knows what a Jurassic Park was. And I had heard that the movie cut a lot out, which that happens, but wow, they cut a lot out. There's an entire riverboat chase scene that I think the movie wanted to put in. I think it's in the ride in Universal. I think that's what I heard. That there's a riverboat chase with a T-Rex and stuff like that. Never got to Universal. I went to Disney World as a kid, but never got to Universal. But all right, number 14, Congo by Michael Crichton. Congo is the very first book I read by Michael Crichton. And the movie is campy, but I like it. But yeah, so basically just a bunch of homicidal apes attacking people in the Congo. Congo was pretty fun. All right, number 13, kind of in the same vein as Jurassic Park. And I have this one. Matthew Riley's The Great Zoo of China. Basically, it's Jurassic Park with dragons. So, number 12. Number 12, this book was on my list. My number one favorite book, and it got knocked down as I read more. But I remember Pale Horse Coming by Stephen Hunter was the first book I remember. This is my favorite book of all time. And that was back in high school. I read it. Basically, Stephen Hunter's got a character, Bob Lee Swagger. If you guys have seen Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, that's based on Hunter's books. And then he's got it where he had a TV show with, was it Ryan Phillippe? And that one for 3 seasons and got canceled by, I think it was it TNT? TNT or USA, maybe. It was Paramount, I don't know. But Pale Horse Coming is, Bob Lee Swagger. I believe it's his dad, because if they go generational, he's got you can read about Earl Lee Swagger and Bob Lee Swagger, and they got some another guy named Ray Cruz that he writes about. So this is Earl Lee Swagger back in the, I think it was the 50s. Takes place in that. Earl Lee Swagger, I believe, I think it's like Missouri or Louisiana, somewhere down south, gets picked up and thrown in, trumped up charges and all that stuff, and thrown in prison. This really corrupt prison. And he's got some buddies on the outside who are coming to town, and these are old like gun fighters from his old buddies from World War II, because that's where he fought in World War II. And they heard that Earl Lee was, basically trapped in this prison. The prison's run by a sadistic guards and this sadistic warden, pretty cliche. And his buddies are coming, and it's, and yeah, they're going to come break him out, and he's going to cause all kinds of havoc. All right. Number 11 was the Scarecrow series by Matthew Riley. Scarecrow is Shane Schofield. He is a United States Marine. I believe he's a Marine. Yeah, a Marine, and it's just going on his adventures. It's it's basically James Bond on crack cocaine. It's amazing stuff. Matthew Riley, same guy. You'll see him again. All right, number 10. This was one of my first loves. It is Stephen King, writing as Richard Bachman. This might be the oldest book I have, and because I got this back in, I want to say freshman. I think freshman year in high school I bought this. But yeah, this is Richard Bachman, aka Stephen King, The Long Walk. Kind of like a young adult. Just these kids have to keep walking. I think it starts with 100, and they have to stay above 3 miles per hour. And on the side of the road are half tracks, these army vehicles who, stuff happens, and got to keep walking. The Long Walk. One of my favorite Stephen King books. Actually, you know what? It is my favorite Stephen King book, because there's nothing else on here by Stephen King. Spoiler alert: there's no Stephen King on here except for that one. Number 9 is The Grimm Company by Luke Scull. This is a fantastic trilogy, grim dark. If you like Joe Abercrombie, which I don't, it's hard to say. I'm not a huge Joe Abercrombie. I've read the Blade Itself trilogy and Best Served Cold and the Red Country, and I don't know. I just didn't really. I will say the only book I did like from Joe Abercrombie is Half a King, which is like a young adult fantasy novel. That was pretty good. But Grimm Company by Luke Scull is amazing. Just follows a trio of mercenaries, or 3 guys in a mercenary band. Just wreaking havoc in the grimdark way. But yeah, Grimm Company by Luke Scull is amazing. I wish I had those books. I will probably buy those because I want to reread that series. Number 8 this was a surprise, Old Man Logan. This is the graphic novel Old Man Logan. I'm saying that 4 issues that they had, the thing that kicked off the Old Man Logan series. I read a few of the Old Man Logan series that's still continuing today. They're okay. But Old Man Logan, the very first self-contained one, I guess, was amazing. If you've seen Logan, that's loosely based off of it. There's not a whole lot more superheroes running around. Old Man Logan is old and, trying to make a name for himself as a farmer, and, shit happens, and some cameo appearances show up. I won't say much, but Old Man Logan, go read that one if you're in the Marvel stuff. Old Man Logan. Number 7. This is the Pine Deep trilogy This is the first one, Ghost Road Blues. I have the rest over there. I am looking for a reason to reread these. I bought the other two over there because I had this one first, and I bought those other two like almost like a half a year ago, intending to reread this. I will reread this. I'm just maybe during Halloween stuff. I got a lot of stuff I want to reread. I want to read first before I start doing rereads. But Pines Deep, a fantastic vampire story. You know, vampires come to town on this. It's called the Pine Deep trilogy. Pine Deep is the little town that these vampires come to and just wreak havoc. It is Jonathan Mayberry, by Jonathan Mayberry. Old Man Logan, I can't remember who wrote that one. I apologize. All right. Number 6, The Rotten Ruin series by Jonathan Mayberry. I don't have those. That is a young adult zombie, 4 books zombie series. And he's got a second trilogy. I read the first book and I couldn't find the magic. And the 4th book was kind of a letdown, but the first 3 are freaking amazing. Rotten Ruin, if you're into zombie stuff. It's a little YA, but I believe that's becoming a movie here or something I've heard. Number 5 is Matthew Riley's The Jack West Jr. series. This is the series I always talk about, saying it's basically Indiana Jones on, speed, adrenaline. But yeah, so that's all you really need to know is Indiana Jones, or this guy named Jack West Jr. is just going around finding stuff, finding artifacts, bad guys shooting at him. He's killing the bad guys. It's amazing. Him and his group. All right, let's get this over because I'm tired. Number 4 is the Of Blood and Bone series by John Gwynne. This is my number 4. A trilogy, a follow-up trilogy to The Faithful and the Fallen. Will that make the list? Probably. But Of Blood and Bone, John Gwynne. I'm not going to say much about this one because you need to read Faithful and the Fallen series before you read this one, in my opinion. You don't have to. John Gwynne says you do not have to, but why would you read this and not read the first 4 books of the old series? Number 3 is Brian Lee Durfee's what is this one? This is the 5 Warrior Angels series. I believe this is going to be a trilogy. The 3rd book is coming out, I believe, sometime in December this year. So I'm looking forward to this. This is amazing. I always say if you're missing Game of Thrones, this will fill that hole in your heart. But definitely pick this one up. They're big, but there's so much stuff in here, and it's fantastic. The politics, the action, adventure, just the drama. My 3rd favorite book series or books. Number 2. What's number 2? It is The Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. I talk about this a lot on my channel. This is the best fantasy series I've ever read. I can't wait for John Gwynne to have his new book come out. And I think it's May. It's going to release here in the States. So, and that one is, I'm tired. I'm sorry. I can't remember. But yeah, so Faithful and the Fallen series. This is number 4. This is Wrath. So, if you are looking for fantastic fantasy, pick up John Gwynne. And number 1, what is my favorite book of all time? And this is a little different. This is not fantasy. This is not an action and adventure book. This is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. This is the best book I've ever read. It reminds me a lot of home because I came from a hockey town up in Minnesota, northern Minnesota, where We live, eat, breathe hockey. Beartown is about a town in Norway. Is it Norway or Sweden? Where is he from? Excuse me. Sweden. So it must be from Sweden. Beartown is a town up there, hockey community that gets rocked to its core when something happens. I'm not going to say it because I don't know if it was in the thing, but yeah, a violent act is what they call it in the blurb here. But it's just amazing. Read this book. I would love to do a reread, but yet again, I've got so much stuff to read. I want to read the first time before I do rereads. But that's it. This is 20 minutes. So I'm going to bed. Talk to y'all later. Again, thank you, Bookish Bryants, for showing me this video because this was fun. Fun. Bye-bye.